Are you tired of predictable books and find yourself wishing for something totally unique and completely unexpected? Or do you love it when you start a book and you think you know exactly what you're getting into and what these plot points are going to be, only for all of those expectations to be wrong and the author take you down a completely different path? Get ready for a book that is wholly unique and defies easy categorization. Today, we're diving into House of Bone and Rain by Gabino Iglesias and how it's one of the most unique books you'll read. House of Bone and Rain masterfully weaves together elements from different genres like horror, crime, magical realism, coming of age, folklore, and more, and it does it in a way that not only blurs the line of genres, but creates its own genre, Barrio Noir. Iglesias does this exquisitely. Whenever you think this book is going to zig, it zags, and it's not just doing it for the sake of it. Everywhere the plot takes you, and the methods that the book uses to get you there, is done to serve the themes the book discusses. We're talking tragedy, violence, vengeance, colonialism, community, strong social commentary, and more. House of Bone and Rain isn't just about entertaining you, it's challenging you to think. And it does it in the ways from its ever-shifting prose, it does it with its heavy themes it wants you to think about, or it's constantly changing the genre on you. When you get comfortable with this being a ghost story, that's when it hits you with the fact that this is actually a full-blown horror novel. And when you get comfortable with this being a full-blown horror novel, that's when it tells you that this is actually a story about brotherhood and family. You'll believe this is a personal story of 5 friends and the traumas that they've gone through, and then realize it's also about the struggles of a country that's also a territory that has no adequate representation. A quick spoiler-free rundown is this. You follow a group of 5 young men from Puerto Rico the day they graduate high school, and they learn that night one of their moms is gunned down outside of a nightclub. At her funeral, the 5 of them make a pact, Gabe, Bimbo, Tavo, Paul, Xavier, that they're going to avenge her by any means necessary. The story is mostly told through Gabe's point of view as he, Bimbo, the grieving son, and the rest of the friends all spiral deeper and deeper into violence. They find out Bimbo's mom was executed by one of the biggest drug dealers in Puerto Rico. They devise a plan where they're going to follow one of the biggest hurricanes to hit Puerto Rico and use the cover of the power outage and the devastation to enact their vengeance on them. That was enough to get me intrigued and want to read this. Now, I knew it was considered like part crime, part horror, but I honestly assumed that the horror was just going to be because of the levels of violence that they would get to as they enacted their revenge. Boy, was I wrong. Now, the level of violence here is horrific. Iglesias goes no holds barred in the violence depicted, and typically seen safe characters in the genre are not safe here. But that's not the only place the horror comes from. There's a lot of horror elements in here, and I can think of 2 chapters specifically that made me audibly go, what the fuck? And I had to close the book and think about what I just read when the more typically seen as horror elements of the book came forward. And this doesn't come out of left field. There's a sense when you're reading this that things are not quite what they seem as the group goes deeper and deeper and deeper into their revenge. You spend time with some of the women in their lives, and in those chapters you kind of get the underlying horror and the folklore aspects of it. But when they all come to a head, it's incredible. I don't want to spoil it. I think feeling like a fish out of water is really the only way you want to be able to experience those aspects of it. It's not just the way that the horror and the crime come together, though, that defies genre and challenges you as a reader. I don't want to say that Iglesias writes without rules, because that leaves a certain negative connotation that often means bad to the reader, but let's just say he eschews conventional storytelling methods. You will have chapters narrated by characters you're very familiar with. You'll have some chapters that tell the story through the point of view of somebody who's only in that one chapter and never seen again. There's even chapters narrated by the hurricane itself. The characters will shift from English to Spanish and back again, although I will say a much bigger deal is made about this online than it really needs to be. If you're watching this video, you have the ability to figure out what somebody is saying in your pocket or on the next browser tab. Like, you can pull it up in Google easily. Or if you're doing it on a Kindle, you can simply just highlight the passage and it will auto-translate it for you. Also, people have said, this is up to 1/3 of this book is in Spanish, which is ridiculous. This is a 340-page book, and it is probably closer to like 10 total pages in Spanish, if that. I would be shocked if it was more. Also, like, we're readers. There's context clues all around this book. If you can't figure out what they're saying from the context clues and you're too lazy to pull out your device to translate it, I don't know what to tell you. You probably shouldn't be reading in general at that point. A lot of books in the horror and crime genres are written to entertain you first, and there's nothing wrong with that. But as I've said on this channel before, and I'll say it 1,000 more times, those genres are at their best when they've got something to say about the world we live in. And House of Bone and Rain has a lot to say about that world. Iglesias plays with his prose a lot. He will use these longer sentences and kind of lull you into this sense of comfort almost. And then he will hit you with these very short, very fast sentences that really are impactful, powerful, and make you stop and think just what it is he's trying to say to you. Whether it's about the nature of violence, crime, toxic masculinity, people exploiting nature, strained relationships between the United States and Puerto Rico, climate change, trauma, abuse, or more, Iglesias isn't just trying to make you think you're scared. He's trying to make you think, period. If you're looking for a book that will push you out of your comfort zone and challenge your perceptions of how predictable a book can be, House of Bone and Rain by Gabino Iglesias is the book for you. Let me know in the comments what books you've read that have defied multiple genres, or which ones you're hoping to get to. If you want more like this video, let me know by giving it a like, consider subscribing, and leaving me a comment. Until next time, keep the porch light on.